Hey there, folks! Today, we're diving into the wild world of universal credit deductions. Buckle up! It's going to be a hilarious ride through serious stuff. Think of it like navigating a minefield of paperwork on a unicycle. The government takes back what they gave you in more ways than you can imagine. So, grab your sense of humour. We're unpacking this bureaucratic beast one deduction at a time. All right. Let's kick things off with a bang. Or rather, a penalty. Fraud penalties. Now, I'm not condoning defrauding the system, but if you do get caught, be prepared to pay the price. Fraud penalties are the first priority. We're talking about deductions that would make Scrooge McDuck blush. You claimed an extra 10 quid last month? Well, then we're taking it back in the winter when you want heating. That'll teach you to mess with the squirrel overlords. Next up, we've got Priority 2, Conditionality Sanctions. Forgot to update your job search? Boom! There goes your grocery money. Missed that CV writing workshop? We told you to go. It doesn't matter if it clashed with your doctor's appointment. You should have thought of that before. Let's talk about Priority 3, those short-term advances. When you're new to universal credit or your circumstances change and you need help to tide you over, it's like borrowing from a friend to help you out, but this friend wants the money back first. Hey, reminder, you owe me that 20 quid from last month. Don't forget, I'm taking it out of your benefit next week. See you then? XOXO, the government. Priority 4, First Month Advance. Waiting for Payday, Government Edition. The first month advance. It's like getting an advance on your allowance, but from the government. And just like your parents, they'll give it to you, eventually, but not without making you jump through a few hoops first. So, you need money to live? Fill out these forms. Priority 5, Budgeting Advance, because budgeting is hard and the government knows it. Next up, we have the Budgeting Advance. This is for those unexpected expenses like a broken washing machine or a sudden urge to buy a life-size cardboard cutout. Getting a budgeting advance is like fitting a square peg in a round hole. It's not impossible, but it requires manoeuvring, luck, and some WD-40. Priority 6, Owner, Occupier, Service Charge, Arrears. Because owning a home should be more complicated. For those lucky enough to own a home, don't think you're off the hook. We've got Owner, Occupier, Service Charge, Arrears. Owning a home wasn't complicated enough. Now we've got service charges to contend with. Fall behind on those, and the government will be knocking on your door faster than you can say mortgage interest relief. Priority 7, Rent and Service Charge Arrears. The bane of every tenant's existence. Paying rent on time is important, but sometimes life gets in the way. Maybe your car broke down, or your dog ate your wallet. If you're late on rent, the government will remind you, in the form of a deduction. Next up, Priority 9, we have gas arrears. Nothing says winter wonderland like shivering in the dark because you can't pay your gas bill. It's a tough choice. Heat your home or eat. At least you'll have a cozy blanket of debt to keep you warm, right? It's like the government is playing a game of would you rather with your basic necessities. And of course, we can't forget about electricity arrears, which are Priority 9. What's worse than being cold in the winter? Being cold and in the dark. It's enough to make you want to dig up your old Boy Scout handbook. Welcome to the 21st century, where we have self-driving cars and smartphones. but we still haven't figured out a way to ensure everyone can afford basic utilities. Oops. Moving right along, we have social obligation deductions. Priority 10. Council tax arrears. Because apparently, paying taxes to the national government isn't enough. Your local council needs a piece of the pie too. And if you forget to pay your council tax bill, they have a team of debt collectors waiting to visit. It's like forgetting to pay for Netflix. You can still watch a few episodes, but they'll catch up with you. Next up, we have Priority 11, fines or compensation orders. We've all been there. Maybe you accidentally went too fast or forgot to pay for a train ticket. If you get slapped with a fine, be prepared to say goodbye to a chunk of your universal credit. Priority 12. Water charges. Nothing says essential human right like paying to stay hydrated. I'm all for conserving water, but when you're charged an arm and a leg to shower, you want to start collecting rainwater. It's like the water company is holding your hydration hostage. Next up, we have old scheme child maintenance. This is for the old CSA cases. Raising children is expensive and a priority, yet it's 13 on the list. It's like a gym membership you never use and forget to cancel. Just keep those payments coming. Flat rate maintenance, or priority 14. This is £7 per week for the child maintenance service, charging everyone the same amount regardless of their circumstances, like paying the same price at a buffet, whether you eat 1 plate or 10. Instead of food, you're paying to have your benefits deducted. Why does the DWP get its loans back before children? Next up, Priority 15. We have social fund loans. Because borrowing from friends wasn't humiliating enough, now you can borrow from the government. It's like asking your stingy uncle for a loan, knowing you'll work it off with chores. We'll give you this loan, but it'll cost you. And by cost you, we mean we'll take it out of your benefits as quick as we can. Recoverable hardship payments is priority 16, because the only thing worse than hardship is paying for it later. It's like going to the doctor for a broken leg and getting a bill for the crutches. It's like the government adding insult to injury. Next up, priority 17, housing benefit and DWP administrative penalties. Navigating the bureaucratic labyrinth of government assistance isn't challenging enough. Now we worry about penalties for minor infractions. It's like getting a parking ticket from a traffic warden having a bad day. Congratulations, you filled out all the forms correctly. But you made a mistake, so we are having it back. Priority 18 is tax credits. Overpayments. They are covered under Priority 18. It's like finding extra fries at the bottom of the bag, only to have them snatched away by seagulls in tiny government uniforms. Just when you thought you had a little extra cash, bam! The government swoops in to remind you. It's like the government is running a casino where the house always wins. Next up, Priority 19. DWP civil penalties. Nothing says civil like being financially penalised. It's like arguing with a brick wall. You know you won't win, but you can't help but bang your head. Normal overpayments, that's priority 20. The government's way of saying, oops, our bad without actually apologising. It's like getting extra change at the store and the cashier chasing you to get it back. Like, come on man, just let me have this one. Next up, Priority 21, Integration Loan Arrears. Integrating into society is so expensive you need a loan for it. It's like the government says, "Welcome to the club. Here's a bill. Want to be financially independent? Just take out this loan and convince 5 friends to do the same." Foolproof plan. Priority 22. Eligible loan arrears. Even when you jump through all the hoops, the government still finds a way to screw you over. It's like solving a Rubik's Cube that's constantly changing. Just when you think you're about to solve it, bam, the rules change. And finally, we have rent and service charge arrears. This is priority 23, because one round of deductions wasn't enough. It's like going through a haunted house twice. Instead of ghosts, you're chased by debt collectors and overdue notices. And there you have it, folks. The rollercoaster ride of universal credit deductions. Remember, it's all about priorities, even if they seem a bit, well, confusing. But hey, at least they're trying, right? So the next time you get a letter from the DWP with the word deduction in it, don't panic. Just take a deep breath and remember, you're not alone. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content.